Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will talk about whether we should celebrate failure. We live in a world that is just obsessed with success. But lately, there's this growing idea, you hear it all the time, especially from places like Silicon Valley: fail fast, fail often. The whole idea is to embrace your mistakes as a key part of the learning process. But is it really that simple? Should we just start throwing parties for our screw-ups? And look, failure isn't just for scrappy startups trying to make it big. Even the absolute biggest brands in the world have had these spectacular, super expensive flops. I mean, look at this. These huge public experiments really make you wonder, is there some kind of hidden value in getting things completely wrong? Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, he put it perfectly. He said, failure and invention are inseparable twins. It makes so much sense, right? To create something new, something truly innovative, you have to experiment. And if you already know an experiment is going to work, well, then it's not really an experiment, is it? And that idea is really at the heart of what we're going to dig into today. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at this whole fail fast revolution. Then we'll dive into the psychology behind it, the whole growth mindset thing. We'll ask a tough question. Are all failures really equal? Then we'll zoom out for a global and psychological view, look at the science of productive failure, and wrap it all up with a practical framework for how you can actually learn from your own failures. So, first up, the fail fast revolution. Where did this modern mantra even come from? And what's the logic behind it? All right, so fail fast doesn't mean, try to fail on purpose. That's not the goal. It's really a strategy of rapid trial and error. You run little experiments to see if an idea has legs, so you can figure out really quickly if it's going to work, and if not, you cut your losses early, instead of wasting a ton of time and money on a sinking ship. So why do this? Well, it helps you find those critical flaws before you've invested way too much. It also helps you avoid that dangerous sunk cost effect. That feeling of, I've already put so much in, I can't stop now, even when you know it's a bad idea. But most importantly, it just massively accelerates the learning cycle, getting you to a good, workable idea way faster. And this classic quote from Henry Ford just captures the optimistic heart of this whole idea. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's just a chance to start over. But this time, you're a whole lot smarter. But here's the thing. Actually embracing failure, that requires a very specific mindset. So let's get into the psychology behind this whole movement. The psychologist Carol Dweck came up with this brilliant concept of two core mindsets. On one side, you've got the fixed mindset. This is the belief that your abilities are basically set in stone, which leads people to avoid challenges they might fail at. But on the other side, you have the growth mindset, the belief that your abilities are something you can develop. And suddenly, challenges become opportunities to get better. And this mindset completely transforms how you see failure. For someone with a growth mindset, a setback isn't some final judgment on their abilities. Nope, it's just a signal, a piece of data, telling them to learn, maybe try a new strategy. It literally turns a dead end into a stepping stone. Now, this all sounds amazing, right? Just have a growth mindset and celebrate failure. But as one Harvard professor points out, there's a lot of what she calls happy talk about failure. Is it a little too simple? Are we supposed to celebrate every single mistake?
Because the reality is, and this is so important, not all failures are created equal. We've got to be able to tell the difference between them.
This chart breaks it down so well. Think about it. A surgeon intentionally skipping a safety checklist, that's deviance. You absolutely do not celebrate that. An employee wiring money to the wrong account by accident, that's inattention. But what about a pharmaceutical company's clinical trial for a new drug that fails? Well, that's exploratory testing. That's a failure that actually generates incredibly valuable knowledge. Professor Amy Edmondson gives us this fantastic framework. On one hand, you have preventable failures. These happen in known territory where we have established processes. We should try to minimize these. But on the other hand, you have intelligent failures. These happen when we're exploring new territory. These are the ones worth having because they're the ones that teach us something new. And here is the absolute key. The value of an intelligent failure is in the learning. Because if you make that same mistake twice, it's not intelligent anymore. The whole point is to learn from it so it never, ever happens again. But, this whole idea of celebrating even intelligent failures, it's not universal. The way people view failure varies wildly all around the world. I mean, societies view failure so differently. In the US, it can almost be a badge of honor. a sign that you took a risk. But in Japan, it can bring a deep sense of shame. In Germany, it's often seen as just plain inefficient. This really shows that the fail fast mantra is a cultural product. It's not some universal truth. And beyond culture, there's another really interesting psychological risk to all this happy talk about failure. It's this idea of toxic positivity. This is what happens when we push a positive mindset so hard that we basically invalidate real, normal human emotions like sadness or disappointment. Forcing a good vibes-only attitude can be really damaging. It can make people feel ashamed for their genuine feelings, and it pressures them to just suppress their emotions instead of actually processing them. It's okay to feel bad when something doesn't work out. In fact, acknowledging that sadness is a huge part of learning from the experience and moving forward. So, after all that, it really comes down to this. The goal isn't just to celebrate failure for the sake of it. The real goal is to learn from it. That's the part that matters. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we learn from failure productively? Well, let's look at the science behind it, starting with a fascinating concept from the world of education. It's a concept called productive failure, and the idea is that struggling with a problem before you're taught the solution actually primes your brain for deeper learning. That initial failure, that struggle, actually helps you understand the right answer so much better when you finally see it. It's a two-step dance. First, you try to solve the problem on your own using what you already know, even if you get it wrong. And then, once you've wrestled with it, the correct method is explained. And because you've already grappled with the why and the how, the explanation just sticks in your brain. So, how do we apply this in our own lives or at work? Let's turn all of these ideas into a really practical step-by-step framework. It all starts with what you might call a failure post-mortem, or an autopsy. You have to do a thorough analysis to understand exactly what happened and why. So here's a simple checklist. First, you have to acknowledge and own the failure without pointing fingers. Second, you analyze why it happened. Was it a bad idea, bad timing, bad execution? Third, you extract the key lessons. What are the rules for next time? Fourth, and this is a big one, you share those lessons so everyone can learn from the mistake. And finally, you apply what you learned to the very next attempt. Now, for any of that to actually work, you need one absolutely crucial ingredient: psychological safety. If people are afraid of being blamed or punished for making a mistake, they're just going to hide them. And if mistakes are hidden, nobody can learn a thing. And this quote just highlights that perfect balance. It's not about being soft or lowering standards. It's about being smart. The best leaders demand excellence, while also creating the safety that's needed for people to take those intelligent risks. So the whole conversation has really shifted. It's no longer just about failing fast. The real goal, the thing that actually matters, is to learn fast. The speed of learning is what gives you the edge. So I'll leave you with a final thought to take with you. What is one small, intelligent failure, one smart risk you could take this week to learn something new and important? Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is just to make progress. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked the video and learned something from it and want to share your opinion or your experience, you can comment down below, and I would love to see your thoughts and experiences. Subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified when I upload more videos like that. Have a good day. Bye.